Hey everyone, it's Josh again. I just made a video concerning why the Church of God made us keep the feasts and why it was so important to stay there throughout the day when the feast came around, including the Sabbath day and the third day worship service. But now I wanted to give my testimony on when I kept the feast. Now again, I was there for almost 5 years, I believe, involved in the church. I was very fervent preaching, giving my tithings. I remember once I gave over $100 worth of tithing, and I don't even have a job. So at that time, I received money from my financial aid when I was going to college, and I thought, well, hey, this money was the reason I received this money is because of God, so I have to give my tithings to God. So I gave over $100 worth of tithing around, I think, 2 or 3 times, and other than that, I would have to tithe as much as I could. Sometimes I would tithe $5, $2, whatever I could at the time, because it was really important to tithe, and if I didn't, then I wouldn't enter the kingdom of heaven. So I was a really strong believer in the church, and I did pretty much whatever they told me. I was dumb enough, stupid enough to believe everything they told me. So I gave all my tithings, and as well I would keep the feast. I remember my first set of feasts, even though I was really new, I strongly believed in what they told me in keeping the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, so on and so forth. So when it came to keeping the 5 a.m. services, even though it was my first year, and I have witnesses who can testify to this, that even though I lived an hour away from the church, maybe 45 minutes, give or take, depending on how fast I walked, I would just plainly walk. I would wake up at 3 in the morning, leave my house at 3:30 in the morning, so that I could arrive at church at 4:30 in the morning. Why? Because I had to walk. So, the reason I did that was because I felt that I needed to keep the 5 a.m. service, because if not, I wasn't going to go to the kingdom of heaven. So it was really important for me to, and not just for me, but for every former member and even members right now who are still attending the church, it was really important to keep the 5 a.m. services, which is why everybody strongly tries to keep the 5 a.m. services, and as well as all the other services. But the hardest one was the 5 a.m., especially if you didn't have a right. Like myself, I had to, for the first year, I really didn't know anybody there. So I was a student, I was in high school, and even though I just walked from, woke up at 3 in the morning, 3:30 a.m., left my house just so that I can arrive at the church at least by 4:10. By 4:10 a.m. so that I would be, ready to worship God. And then I would have to sometimes I would get lucky enough to get a ride, or if not, I would just have to, walk home. That was my first year. As the years went by, then I just started borrowing my stepdad's car, and then picking up a brother and brothers and so on and so forth. So that was, as it went on. And I remember as well in my first year, I got really sick with the stomach flu. I had a high fever, sweating all the time, throwing up, couldn't stand still because I felt really nauseous, so I just couldn't do anything. But even though I was feeling really sick, I kept the 5 a.m. services. I remember I called a brother that was supposed to pick up, and then this was around the Feast of Tabernacles, and I told him, hey, I'm not going to be able to pick you up because I'm feeling really sick and I don't think I'm going to attend the 5 a.m. service. The brothers were like, okay, that's fine. I'll just, find a way to get to the church. 2 minutes later, I thought to myself, what am I doing? Even though I'm feeling like, crap, I should be going to worship God. It's very important. So even though I was feeling nauseous, I was sweating, I had a high fever, I still went and attended the church. And I remember once it was a 5 a.m. service, we were standing up and we were praying, or the pastor was praying, and we just had our hands put together. And I remember thinking in my head, I was like, oh, just please finish praying, because I feel like I'm going to throw up, and I didn't want to be disrespectful, so I just wanted to sit down. But as soon as the pastor finished praying, I just, ran to the bathroom. Luckily, I sat all the way in the back in the last row because I knew that I wasn't feeling well, so I just sat in the back row. Again, even though I had a stomach flu, throwing up, high fever, sweating, I still attended the 5 a.m. services because of the fear that they had installed in me, and telling me that I wasn't going to go to the kingdom of heaven. I remember Missionary Ron was there for one of those days at a late evening at 7:30 p.m. Right after the service, I started throwing up in the bathroom, and he was kind to bring me a bottle of Gatorade from the machine that they had there. But again, it didn't matter how I felt. They strongly told us to keep the feast because it was important, and even though I felt like crap, I still kept the feast. Even if I had to walk an hour, even if I had to feel like crap, it didn't matter. I still kept the feast because of the fear that they had installed in me. So that is my testimony concerning when the feast, when I had to keep the feast, and also as well why we have to keep the feast, because again, if we didn't, then we would lose our place in the kingdom of heaven. So again, thank you for watching, and please share this video to friends, relatives, people that you guys know that are wanting to join this organization, and let them know about the truth, because again, it is time for the truth to come out and not to be silent anymore. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful to some of you.